Well, my name is Bronwyn and I live with depression. Sometimes I suffer from it and other times it's in the background of my life. I'm also a suicide survivor. I was encouraged very strongly as a child to live life to the fullest, and I really did that. I left Australia when I was 21 and travelled extensively and had wild times and adventures. I ran 3 marathons, London, Paris and New York, and I had a pretty great life. My life was full of possibility and I was an optimist. And the fact that I experienced depression robs me of optimism. I was diagnosed with depression when I was 35 or 36 years old, but there was an incident in my life when I was 15 where I took an overdose. So I was experiencing some levels of depression back then, and that episode kind of left me with the feeling that I was tarnished. And I have a definition of stigma and what it means to me, and actually I got this from the internet. Stigma is a mark of disgrace or infamy, a stain or reproach on one's reputation. And basically I feel like because I took an overdose and because I have depression, that I'm really living with a lot of shame. The subtle hiss of stigma as I walk past, toxic whispers, a filthy glance, no second chance for me. Well, I'm not really comfortable with the label of mental illness. I kind of go, mental illness is like here, but what happens to me with depression is something that affects my whole body. So I prefer to be specific and say, yes, you know, I do have depression, I live with depression. When I was 15, I was feeling a great deal of despair, and I ended up taking an overdose, and I was taken to the emergency department. Then they decided that they were going to transfer me to the adult psychiatric ward. Then I was really upset and I started crying, and the ambulance woman said to me, "Don't cry, they'll keep you in longer if you do." And that made me cry even more, because I thought that going into the psychiatric ward, at least I would be able to express and talk about what was making me so disturbed. But I sensed a lot of injustice, and I made a decision that I would not be like that myself. And then 3 years later I went and applied for a job as a psychiatric nurse and started a career that went for over 25 years. I suppose I wanted to be a buffer between the bad experiences that the clients could have in the system, and I saw my role as standing between them and those experiences. To me, it's like the last bastion of human rights. Society has been changing. Gays have come out of the closet. Racism is becoming somewhat eroded, and lots of prejudice and stigmas have been outed. But the things that happen to people once they've been labelled mentally ill remain unchallenged. Sticks and stones can break my bones, and names do hurt me. There have been days of my life where I've had to lie in bed and hardly move because I wanted so much to end my life. It took all my energy simply to stay and not do it. I felt for a long time that I personally had ruined my life by being suicidal. But it was never a choice. I always fought really hard for life. What I need in other people who might come into my life is a sensitivity. I live with depression. Sometimes it's a struggle, and sometimes it's just a memory. And I'd like very much for it to be just a memory. I have 3 cats, and they bring a great deal of joy to my life. This is Venus. Her biggest adventure was being locked in a fridge. This is Amber. Amber has always had one priority in life, and that's food. I also have a cat called Luna. He came into my life when I really needed love, and after I had taken an overdose, and he would sleep on my heart and purr, and I can still remember the feeling of the purring going into my heart. He was just life. He was so alive. The total acceptance of a cat for its owner is really, really strong. Yeah, they don't stigmatise.